we good to go, Melly? Right, so
ready when you are, yes.
Slight technical problem. We haven't got our intro music, so we were hoping that you all would help us out with that. So after 3, 1, 2, 3. Then the guitar at the end. Wow. Hello and welcome to Run Last Click with me, Chris, and Edie's here, Lane's here, Sheamus is here for some reason. Can we have a round of applause, please? Live! For one night only, unedited, another unword, and here, live for you and your enjoyment. How exciting. How are you, Edie?
I'm good.
How many years have you been doing this, Edie?
Oh, like 4?
I need more from you than just one word answers. Well, it's 2 words, I suppose. But
all right. I woke up slightly hungover because I played Netrunner for 15 hours and then decided the correct thing to do was to drink and then just talk about why we played Netrunner for 15 hours.
See, this is much better content already. Sheamus, you're from another podcast, aren't you?
Yes.
Why are you here?
No one stopped me. So
No, Sheamus, the Theophilius Bagpiper podcast. Google it. Don't try and spell it. It's a fool's errand. He very kindly has provided us with it. Last year we had the Stro, and this year we have some Buckfast. I don't think I've had Buckfast before, but I know it's notorious.
Well, this is an exciting moment for you, Chris.
It smells like medicine.
It's good for you.
That's interesting because it is a tonic wine.
It is a tonic, delicious tonic wine. So yeah, this year's gimmick is the feature called Bucky O Snare. We were to do research for the feature. We were looking at DeviantArt pictures of Bucky O'Hare.
Don't do that.
Don't try that at home. They were having lots of cuddles, weren't they? The duck. Do you remember the duck who had 4 arms?
Yeah.
He was giving Bucky O'Hare a right old cuddle. It was nice. Yeah.
I thought the sad emo Bucky you showed us, who just the weight of the war on his shoulders, that really
he was really emo. Yeah, no, DeviantArt, things you cannot unsee. The unofficial title. Anyway, yes, Bucky O'Snare, we cannot say click or credit. If we do, let us know and we'll have a wee sup upon this delightful tonic wine. So Sheamus, Buckfast, what, how and why is it, Chris said in a clearly prepared way.
Well, we discussed this feature, you may not realize.
Yes, we did.
I wanted to come and tell you an inspiring story about the Drink Buckfast, which was enjoyed across our great nation 500 years ago until the dissolution of the monastery. Dissolution of Buckfast Abbey.
You're wrong, Edie. Sorry, Sheamus. Sorry. Carry on.
So obviously died out in England, but was preserved in popularity in Scotland and Ireland. And it was an inspiring tale, which Chris wasn't interested in at all. So he's asked me to read out some police statistics instead. So in 2015, the Scottish Prison Service reported that over 43% of inmates drank Buckfast before their
43.
previous
That's
offence.
nearly half.
Incredible.
It's less than half.
But it's also nearly half.
This is very positive press until you realise that Buckfast sales make up 1% of all alcohol sold.
Does this mean half of us are going to jail after this podcast?
Not quite half.
Edie, what crimes are you committing after this?
I'm just playing on. Apparently, it makes you great at crime, so I'm just
Great at crime. That's the tack. They get caught.
Not all of them.
So yeah, I think it's the plan of making like crim #1 in the meta is just drink Bucky.
Oh, boo, boo.
Can Edie drink it for bad puns as well?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see how many he saturates the podcast with. Lane, your lady friend is Scottish. She sent you some Buckfast.
She sent me some important Buckfast
information.
information. Says apparently...
Which Sheamus wanted to maybe correct. Read it.
He said it was racist, I think. Didn't he, Sheamus?
This whole endeavour is racist.
I did say, Sheamus, you remember what I said about not being able to find it in London?
I was furious. Chris
James has
asked me to
finished
provide
his
the
already?
Buckfast, and I was really confused because I know for a fact you can buy Buckfast in England. And he said that he'd not checked the ethnic section of his supermarket.
The ethnic food section, Sheamus. Yeah.
Great.
Of my local Waitrose. It grows on you, actually. It's all right.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's sort of like red wine. I don't really like red wine, but yeah, fuck it. So what are these facts, Lane?
They're not facts. Apparently we're all Neds, she says.
Yes.
Different numbers on the bottles. Some of my friends claim that different numbers are better than others. Brackets, this is all wrong. They're all disgusting.
Where is the number on our bottle?
We don't have any numbers. I'm upset.
So the numbers are on the larger bottle.
Ah, okay.
And I sort of thought this might go off the rails enough without doubling the quantity.
So what do the numbers mean, Seamus? What do the numbers mean?
The theory is that the lower the number, the sweeter and thicker your Buckfast is.
You know, I'm enjoying this drink. But if it could be a bit thicker,
A bit sweeter.
I think that might improve my experience.
Now, other people claim that the numbers just relate to the production of the bottles and have nothing to do with what's inside them.
Yes.
But the one time in my life I had a number one bottle of Buckfast, I just bought it for a casual Monday evening. It's embarrassing that none of this is made up. And ended up on like a 4-day rave and camping trip down in the Borders.
Jesus Christ!
It was phenomenal. One of the best weeks of my life.
Edie, what was...
I'd say a normal weekend with Edie, that is, isn't it?
Week, I'm assuming the last 3 days were asleep. Yeah.
No, actually, I slept for 2 days and then I went and saw Tom Waits.
Very nice. Edie, you have a Buckfast story, don't you?
I do. So I was at a lovely rave festival where you're staying in Butlins, up in Southport, in a lovely part of the world. And I got woken up at 11 o'clock in the morning by someone who hadn't slept, standing on the balcony outside our chalet, shouting, "Does anyone have any Buckfast? The shop have run out. It's an emergency." To everyone who walked past.
So a rich and storied history. Personal stories, delightful. Emotional connections were made just then. So yeah, it's a liquid that is probably far from ideal from us to consume from a health point of view, but maybe conducive to a health. Yes, exactly, medicinal tonic. That
There's
probably
a fruit
means
on
medicine.
the front. It's one of my 5 a day. It's got a fruit on the front.
Right. So has anyone been playing Netrunner recently?
Nope.
No? All right. Well, and that's the end of the podcast. That's the thing I say at the end. Edie,
Yeah.
what decks did you take to Euros yesterday?
I took Titan and Valencia because I'm cool and exciting.
You are. How many pieces of ice did you have in this Titan deck?
10.
10.
Originally.
Which we said, oh, you're going to do terribly, Edie, terribly. It's like, it's not enough. And then you finished highest of any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you were
not
even
smart
on the
as well.
bubble for a little bit as well.
I was
Yeah.
right on the cusp, and then someone who's not currently here because they're playing in a different tournament knocked me out of the top 16.
Boo. Boo. Lane, what were you taking?
I took Freedom, Kamalu, and Polana. 'Cause
Yes.
Panic Polana is always good.
Panic
Except
Polana,
when
it's a
he
good
loses
choice.
all your games.
Yes. And I mean, that's quite bad. If you'd known that ahead of time, you probably wouldn't. No, it's fair. Seamus, what did you take?
I took Valencia and CTM.
Very good, very good. We made some predictions in the pub Thursday night, I think, wasn't it? Or you were on the train while having train beers, made some predictions. I've handed them to Seamus, who'll read them out, and then we will discuss them and see which ones came to pass.
Okay. First one. 0 Philotic kills from Lane.
No. I need to score on agendas for that one, and that wasn't happening.
What was the problem with scoring agendas, Lane? Why couldn't you score agendas?
Runners keep stealing them, Chris. In the
Okay.
game of Android Netrunner, that's what they want to do, it turns out.
Right. I hear it's asymmetrical.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Try
decks.
just installing more of them.
More Philotics.
Well, just more agendas generally, and then you might get to score 1.
That would involve me having them for long enough that they weren't just stolen out of my hand.
Just throwing ideas
I was
around.
told to rush, so I tried to rush, and every time I rushed, put an agenda down, they took it away. Is that what you meant by rushy calls?
It's sort of what I meant, yeah.
Seamus, what is the next fact, and as Chris fills for time while Seamus unlocks his phone and professional.
I don't know who wrote this, but consulting visit for a card in archives.
That was for Edie.
That was for me.
Did you do that, Edie?
I didn't. I remembered that there was exactly one hard-hitting news and one arc lockdown in my deck, and checked archives before playing consulting visit. Writing that down might have helped me not lose.
Excellent. Next one, please.
Atlas for ice.
Did you do that, Edie?
No, you guys were wrong. 10 is the correct number of ice.
You had 8 before, that's why.
I think it was 9 and I added up to 10. But it turns out if you have a Rashida and the Legal Arms Factory, you draw 5 cards at the start of your turn, and this is helpful for finding ice and everything else.
Also helpful for filling out your archives, probably, as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Also, who needs ice?
Well, not you, apparently, Edie.
What else does Rashida do?
She gives you money.
Lose to Interdiction Wanza.
Oh, that's me. I was playing Wanza City Grid, guys, so hence the losses. Thank you for those pity love.
I think Mwanza was just enough of a...
No, Interdiction would have been great, because then I couldn't res the fucking thing. Lost because no one didn't play it.
Game decided on 9+ accesses.
No, just the normal 5 was enough normally to lose.
You have a standard 5 access.
That failing is on you for failing to install a Wanza Grid on R&D.
I didn't. I did, but I was too scared to res it because that would have been terrifying.
Did you get any kills during the day? Like?
Not through that card, but yes. A few people just killed themselves on snares, which was very helpful. The plan was, like, there were snares there and Obacatas, and they'd take an Obacata and then hit the snare. It turns out it doesn't work at all. He's all about me, by the way, just mocking my court deck. Or is there anything somebody else?
No, I think we're moving on.
Okay.
We've got a reader, which I believe is from Catherine, for Amani Senai.
Yeah, I had to read my own card.
Catherine had to read her own card for those listening at home.
Did good prep.
Prediction fulfilled.
Good.
I believe the gentleman sitting next to you had to read Amani when we played.
Yes, I did.
Were you happy with what you read, Dave?
I wasn't, nor was my liberator account.
Next one is Edie gets punched for role-playing mining accident.
So this might need a bit of context. Edie, demonstrate for the lovely people.
So you'd make a run on a central server, and then you go... Sorry, excuse me 1 second. Do you mind if I take this? That's really important. Hello? What? He's been hurt. In the mines. There was a cave-in. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm going to have to go. This is serious.
I genuinely think you would have been punched if you had the courage to actually do that.
I suggested that in the flourish of, like, well, I don't have time... What? And just, like, change your face at that point. Yeah, I thought that would have been a good touch. We talked about a newspaper at one point as well.
I think Andy Thomas from London made a big newspaper that he would get out with, there's been a horrible accident. And just put it on the table.
More Netrunner props.
Yeah.
More
people should have props.
Yes. What's next, Sheamus?
Game loss for Mwanza and a remote.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Didn't do that. I have the game lost duck, and he presented me game losses all day.
Prided by one day.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
Do you place that on top of the upgrade that you put on your central? That's
Just
very...
remind me not to risk it, because I have to turn the duck over. Yeah.
Next is game loss for missing a Find the Truth trigger.
No, that was the duck. That was my
again.
Find the Truth duck.
Multi-purpose duck.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
It was very, very late, and we were sort of playing that run automatically. So I did occasionally try and draw face up when I didn't have Find the Truth installed, but other than that, I was okay.
Next is Chris is asked to be quiet while spectating.
No, I was at
He was
the
in
hotel.
bed.
I was
Very tired.
I was having mad naps, bro. Mad naps.
Edie gets deck checked.
Yeah, happened. It was my own
How
fault.
many Elis did you have in your deck, Edie?
None.
We were talking about putting 0 Eli 2.0, weren't we, on the deck list?
Yeah.
But thought that might get you a game loss as well.
Yeah. So I managed to lose. So I was the person who lost the turning wheel before the start of round 1. That was me. I did the pile shuffle when I was just a card short, and there are any judges here, thank you so much for accepting my ridiculous request of, I've lost a card, but I don't know which one it is. You have the deck list. Here's my deck box. Can you find out and call it out for me? So again,
That is above and beyond. Do we have that judge in the audience?
No, they're cash refresh.
Okay, yeah,
Fresh still go. Oh.
we're going to give them a shout out at the end, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but this is
yeah,
an
yeah.
extra special shout out to all judges for being immense and doing ridiculous requests.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip over the next one briefly because the one after is for me. Seamus Falls for the obvious trap.
Yes.
Which I haven't. But the one previous was Edie has to click for credit slots.
Hey! I told you not to read ahead, Seamus.
That might have given it away a little bit.
in order.
I thought I sold it quite well. I was like, I want natural reaction from you, Seamus. You know, I'll send it to you now. Don't read ahead. You know, I want. Yeah. Oh well.
Next is...
How much of your Buckfast is gone, Seamus? Jesus Christ, man!
How much have you drunk?
I've like the bare minimum for like entertainment.
How are you going to get Larry if you don't drink your Buckfast?
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Just trying to help
Say
you with
the
your
secret
content.
words a lot and you'll be fine, Chris.
Two breaker 50 card regret. I had that. Anyone
Just
else?
problems. Yeah, 2 decoders in the bottom 45 cards was not good. Bottom 3 of 45 cards was pretty bad. Okay, it's Christian, wherever he is. Thank you,
There he
Christian.
is.
Yeah.
Hello, Christian.
Secret deck no one told Seamus about.
Yeah, it's like last year with Southern Wiz is what we did.
Yeah. I was pretty mad about that.
That's like you find out there's a WhatsApp group you're not part of, isn't it? Another copy part. I'm not even last year.
It's entirely possible that there was, but it has remained secret. So if you are part of a cabal keeping things from me, congratulations, you're doing it very well. Did we confirm that we're doing this last one?
It's about the
We
German.
can't. No, it's
Secret.
Okay. Secrets. All right.
So I'm now keeping information from you secretly.
So yeah.
Oh, there's actually another one. Everyone reads Mwanza.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They were like, really?
It's a pretty big tournament. It's a lot of effort to come here.
You can take it back.
You're meant to have that in your... All right, fine. No, yeah, 5 access is great.
Sort of started to work. I got 20 credits, and then
Drink.
3 agendas. Fuck. I needed the Buckfast during the tournament, I think.
Right, what did we see a lot of at the tournament? Edie, let's start with you. What was the hotness this year?
I mean, I saw a lot of Scorp and a lot of Val. That was my, like...
More. Give me more.
More. I did not
see
see any
that.
more. No, weirdly, no.
Lane, what did you think of the tournament? What did you see?
It's all right.
Oh, jeez.
I played against,
I think this duck is to remind me not to do a live show with you again.
I think I played against the same Val list about 6 times. So I was playing Polana, and I think I got my first Polana credit on game 3.
I think you
I
like
don't think I'm
the
doing a
taste of
podcast.
Buckfast.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm trying to catch Sheamus.
Yeah. Were there other competitive runners besides Val that you saw?
I didn't. I just saw
Anyone,
Val
anyone.
only.
I mean, I heard 41-9 did very well.
Yeah.
419 is quite good. I'll be honest with you.
419er, yeah. He made the top cut, didn't he?
Yeah.
See him tomorrow. Seamus, Val.
Yeah, there was a lot of Val.
It's not Val. But it's not. It doesn't feel like it's a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's very good baseline Netrunner, and less so at the moment, but maybe Store Champ season Val was oppressively good, but I think the problem there was that Corps were bad rather than Val was problematic. And Corps are in some ways a little bit better now, and in other ways worse.
Excellent.
Was that helpful? I can talk more.
Well, I mean, it filled time, so that's good. Edie, Corp side, what did you see Corp-wise?
I saw a lot of Scorp. I played against one Titan, and it was different to mine, and that was exciting.
Did they have... You had Boom in yours.
I had Boom in mine.
They did not have Boom in
They
theirs.
did not have Boom.
All right. Was
Well,
that the main difference?
They had Errand Boy.
They had Errand Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, Errand Boy's not terrible.
It's legit. I forgot.
Yeah.
I
Sick
complete-
tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that 45 card deck.
Was that the 45 cards? Oh, that was the thing. Someone's running
45 cards.
45 card Titan.
Is that allowed?
Yep, it's legit. Yeah.
All right, seems alright. Lane, corpse.
Lots of Weiland, lots of interesting Weiland. I was playing Freedom, and it's really fun playing Freedom because your answer to everything is get loads of data suck accounts and try and blow it up. So it's just lots of running and seeing the things that could kill you in a few turns, and it's pretty good.
It's the Joey sort of
mentality
of
good.
yeah. What's your solution to this? Imp slash Freedom,
much.
yeah. Get out the hand.
The Titan Freedom matchup's really interesting because if they don't get a totally nut start, you can trash a lot of their zero cost audacities, fast tracks, reconstruction contracts, all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed the sort of Weiland Freedom matchup thing. I did actually get battered by a Moon CI though, so apparently
CI?
that deck is dead, not dead as it seems. So,
Sheamus, same question.
Yeah, I saw a real sort of smattering of the field. Probably didn't exactly match the statistical breakdown of the corpse at the event, but pretty close. Also saw a little bit of spice though. Played against Jinteki Biotech, and I don't know if my opponent's here. Well, best of luck to him. He's a gent. Res Technocorp against me. Does anyone know what Technocorp does?
Yes.
No.
something costs one more.
What?
Something costs one more money unit.
Not just that, though. When the runner pays one more money unit, something else happens.
They get a money unit?
Correct. Yeah. But I had to read it, and then I looked at my hand, and then I asked to read it again, because my brain had just refused to take in what Technocorp was. And then I played a card, and my opponent read my card, then read Technocorp. And it did nothing.
Eating in the middle, going, what is this?
So the rest of our game was both of us continually reading Technocorp to remember what it did.
Does it matter now? No, it doesn't matter.
It was really sad when they eventually over-installed. It was the most fun bit of the game done.
I saw Trojan Horse. Has anyone seen that card? I didn't know that was a thing. It's terrifying.
What's it do, Lane?
It's a trace for Weiland operation, and it basically says trace for if successful trasher program, which is quite
How much
scary
does it
in
cost
score.
to install?
It's operation.
How much does it cost to play?
1 money unit.
Nah. No.
And the trigger is accessing a card. I was like, what now?
Yeah.
How much? Oh, there's my breaker's gone. Oh no.
Yes.
So that's quite scary. That was my reading moment.
Yeah. I was just going to briefly interrupt because with the progress that you're making through your Buckfast, I don't think we're going to need the spare bottle. So I was going to say if anyone in the audience wants to sample, there is some Buckfast.
We could pass it.
We found Scotland in the corner.
Right, pass it. Yeah. Send it round.
Oh, it's coming
There we
to
go.
you.
Unless you're wanting to take that home with you, Chris.
No. No.
I'm just gonna
I'd
message
rather
Beth
keep
and
the
say-
memories.
You know you can put it on your breakfast cereal, right?
You can do a lot of things with Buckfast you probably shouldn't, Edie. There you go. If you have a number one, then maybe, that's morning Buckfast. Start your day right.
3 bottles a day.
So are we happy with the meta, do you think, Edie? We as a collective people.
I mean, I can't speak for us as a collective. I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah.
Because, stupid decks that I liked in the past are now quite good.
Yes.
Val plays proper Netrunner. That's quite cool. Yeah.
It's really varied, isn't it? If you look at the top cut we've got tomorrow, there's every faction from every side represented, I think, except mini factions, and they did pretty well as well. So I know some people think maybe it's a bit, I don't know, Corps are a bit struggling, but I quite like having a variety of stuff to play against. What?
Sorry,
We're being heckled by Scotland.
Scots are causing disruption. We've given them a Buckfast.
lads.
They've become overexcited.
Lane, deploy the teacher voice.
No, I can't.
I'll go on.
I'm off duty.
Oh, sir, man. Sir,
I'm
man.
getting flashbacks.
Lane, meta. Happy,
I just
nice,
said.
good.
I literally just said. Are you listening to anything I'm saying?
What?
Next.
It's a funny joke. Sheamus, meta. Happy, yes, nay, reasons. 400 words or less, please.
Okay.
Citations, footnotes, and sources.
So it is varied, particularly on the corpse side, and that is good, but I don't think it's necessarily a product of a bunch of stuff being particularly strong. I think it's a product of a bunch of stuff on the corpse side being okay, and there not being a standout best option. So there's a bunch of stuff on the runner side that's okay as well, but people have made a judgment, and I've not seen the breakdown of the results, but it wouldn't surprise me to see that Valencia has done disproportionately well, even with the overrepresentation she had. So it would be... Short answer, I actually like the meta, and I think it's headed in a reasonably good direction. But a more nuanced one, I would like to see a little bit more support for fair-ish but alternate corp win conditions.
Yeah. My left arm is tingling. Is that normal? Like shooting pains up and down.
Well, you do have medicine right in front of you.
That is true. Solution is always more Buckfast. Yes, you're right. Any other thoughts on the day, gents?
It was long.
It was fucking long, wasn't it?
Bare long.
8 rounds. Madness.
Was it long for you, Chris? Was it tiring and difficult? Sorry, was it
tiring?
Were you really tired?
Some naps, yeah. At one point, I was like, I have so much time to go. I might go see a film. I was like, I haven't seen Deadpool 2. It's all right.
Chris, why were you so tired today?
Oh, because I stayed up late drinking.
Oh, okay, that's it.
I played board games because, that's what we do here. Edie, your duck.
Yes.
You have a story about your duck.
Well, the origins of the duck are from Dave here at the front, which is the Don't Run Duck for Peace in Our Time, or Game Lost in Our Time, as it's otherwise known. Obviously, I'm not running this card because I'm running sensible decks. So this was my Titan. If you can score an Atlas, but are going to do something else, you have to look the duck in the eye and look at his judgmental face. And explain to the duck. Not out loud, in your head, why what you're doing is better than just scoring that Atlas. And I've had to explain to the duck that that global food is going to go in archives, and that piece of ice like that could protect HQ, and the duck just goes, no, you're audacitying that Atlas. I'm like, fine. Fine, just all right, go. The duck's right.
Duck always.
And the duck is correct. Just trust the ducks.
Yes.
Christian told me that this is a programming reference, apparently. You're supposed to... What did you say, Christian? You have to explain a problem to the duck? Or was it somebody else told me this? The rubber duck problem, so that's what you were doing, Edie. Yeah, you have to explain it like it's to a rubber duck.
Yeah, and I just can't say no to his angry, scary face that says, just score the Atlas.
Mine just went, why have you brought this corp deck?
Yeah.
I was like, I know. I can't help you. Why didn't you ask me this the day before?
I do, yeah. Is Peter from Hungary in the room? I'd like to give this
and
duck...
he's leaving.
I'd like to give you this duck as the sole Titan player in the top cut, so that maybe it can carry you to victory as it failed to do for me.
Oh, excellent.
Top cut duck. Top cut duck. Score that Atlas.
Is it possible
even if it
now
makes
a bad
no
luck
sense?
duck and you've cursed him?
No, I'm bad at playing Val.
All right.
Right, so now the always hard to get started question and answer section of the podcast. Very exciting. This year we have exciting prizes.
Ooh.
I wouldn't have agreed to be on if I knew I could be in the audience and win prizes.
You're not allowed to
bring
prize
my own
now.
Buckfast.
Edie, would you demonstrate the prize, please?
So this is the official Run Last Click playmat. It's lighter duty than your regular playmat, so that it also doubles up as a thing you can use to dry your dishes.
Yes, it is a full linen white union tea towel.
Sorry, Millie. Hold up.
It is hemmed on all 4 sides. Features the Run Last Click logo in bold colours.
Drink.
This tea towel also features an additional hanging loop for maximum convenience and utility. Demonstrate the hanging loop, please, Edie. And is not available for any price. Recommended Recommended wash temperature 40 degrees. Do not tumble dry.
So proud we have a tea towel.
We have 3. We have 3 of these. Edie, if you pass yours. Oh, actually, yeah, no, that's good. But pass the others down. Every one of the other panelists will choose their favourite question at the end, and the winner, 3 people will leave today with a Run Last Click tea towel.
Ooh. Drink. That was upside down.
Hoisted by my own petard. It's very absorbent. We've been trying our own one at home, Catherine, haven't we? It's very absorbent. It's very big. I ordered them, and I didn't expect them to be quite this big. But they are very absorbent, and, if you want to proof some bread, you can use it for that as well. If you need a flag or cape for some reason, that's...
it's more of a dog-sized cape, right?
Yes.
But if you have a dog, and that dog needs a cape, this is a banging cape.
I want more on Chris explains what a tea towel does, please.
Emergency oven gloves, a good one.
Yeah.
We have...
we are doing this then.
Has Millie wandered off? Let me grab the on-the-go mic.
Oh.
Say things.
Say things.
Things.
Oh,
hey. All right, fine.
Lane, you were enjoying bad board game titles today?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no, we were fine. Yeah, a good game for the expo is find the worst kind of generic fantasy board game. What was your one? It was both wrong and grammatically incorrect. It was things like Prisoners of Zindabar or The Kingdom of Ringamabong.
After you mentioned it to me, I was keeping an eye out, and I got Shards of Infinity and Fortitude of Empires.
That doesn't even make grammatical sense.
which they then shortened to Foe.
Foe. What a game of Foe.
Apologies if the designers of these games are in the audience. I'm sure they're
Sorry.
Who has a question? Hands. 2 people have questions.
Woo.
I don't think we should take this question.
Is this from a guest? A co-host?
Sheamus.
Closer. So much closer.
I knew we shouldn't take this question.
Sheamus.
Dave Hoyland.
God damn it, I know what this question is.
Now, yesterday you were playing with a very fetching playmat. Do you still have possession of that playmat today?
I don't.
And why not?
Well, Ian made a beautiful playmat to give to the top Scot at Euros.
How hard it is for him to
which
say.
I held from last year. And yesterday I was beaten by my good friend and worthy competitor, Ronan, who now holds the top Scots playmat. And he's a bastard.
I actually have a sensible question if you're interested.
No.
Not really.
This is a question for Chris.
Hello, that's me.
Yes, it is. If you'd known in advance how interesting and varied the meta was going to be, would you reconsider not playing and instead...
8 rounds. Swiss. 8. No.
Very well.
I think finding out what time it finished did for Chris, for good. I don't think that's going to happen. Finished at what time?
Yeah. I think more than 6 is probably... 6 would be my absolute limit, and
You tend to play horrible decks anyway, so...
Yeah, no,
8 rounds of diaper would have been...
Yeah, no, it's a slog. It's a slog for everyone involved. Next question, please.
Hi. This is a question for everyone.
That's me as well.
Of all of the ways that you lost games yesterday, what was your favourite?
I can go. So I've been testing CTM very hard and know the matchup from both sides very well. So I made certain assumptions about my opponent's CTM deck, which led me to believe that I had the game 100% locked down, and there was absolutely nothing they could do to get from 6 to 7 points. So I very confidently just sat moneying up and bouncing off R&D to build up turning wheels for
Did they then
winning
score
day.
merger out of hand?
Well, in fact, what they did was have more than one QPM in their deck, which I want to be clear is absolutely incorrect. Just because it beat me does not mean that was a smart decision, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
The coward's choice of 2 QPM, 2 AI. I lost, obviously, with Miranda Secrets. So it was doing really well. It basically said every time they run HQ, they hit a snare, and I gained 10 credits. That was fantastic.
Ooh.
I deserve it, to be fair. And then the problem came where I was on match point and kept drawing agendas, and I realised I couldn't actually de-res it or get rid of it in any particular way. When I was on match points, they do desperate things like run HQ and access the entire hand. And then I lost the game quite badly. I was like, how can I get rid of this thing?
Quickly. It was a very long day. The advantage of Titan is it loses games very quickly. A more specific one, I had a game where I ended the last click, stim hacked the remote.
Drink.
And it turned out I was 2 data sucker / on my queue account was short. And it was just a very, very, very tight game that came down to the absolute last turn. Ooh. And yeah. Chris, what about you?
How did I
Did you
lose?
go and see Deadpool 2?
I did not. That's maybe winning. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah. I'm sure it's fine. It didn't. There wasn't anything interesting on this. That's how I lost. There wasn't anything particularly interesting. Oh, also, there's like an arc. Actually, I did lose a little bit because there's like a pseudo arcade in the shopping area bits, and like I read on the website, like, but because it's half term, all the games are free between 10 and 12. Come down, bring your kids, bring the family. And I thought, oh, I'll go do that. But then I looked at board games instead.
That's definitely
I know,
losing.
but I looked later and they only had Time Crisis 4, so I wasn't really. I wasn't too big of a loss. More questions, please. We are hungry for questions.
Endless hunger.
Hi. Given that one of the prizes this year was a ring binder, what other useful everyday items would you like to see FFG give away as prizes for tournaments?
Something, totally useless household objects with
Netrunner
terrible
spatula.
Android Netrunner art would be good. A kettle.
Kettle would be nice. A toaster.
A series of spoons. I'm drawn towards the kitchen area, I think.
Crystal glasses would be nice, actually. Have a whiskey out of that. That'd be nice.
Well, I don't think that's in keeping with, FFG, the quality and appropriateness of FFG prize support.
Downhill.
I think what you want is like an NBN branded cheese grater that only has 3 sides, and the one that's missing is like the normal cheese grater side. And that's just got a big NBN logo.
Edie?
I mean, I'd quite... I mean, it's a bit stereotypical, but if they could have some FFG branded like deodorant and soap, that could be a different show.
I thought you were going to say bike parts or something.
Oh.
I'm glad you can't see under the table, listeners.
I mean, stickers, but that's not an everyday item. That's a very special. That's a personalisation thing. I just don't know.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Ooh. If you did know, you'd be off making your millions, but you're not. You're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so, fair enough. All right. Questions? Another question.
I'm going to copy Alice and do 2, one silly, one not silly. The first
Thanks
question.
for preparing us.
You know, they just come to me as you come up with this amazing hashtag content. So I'd quite like to know, considering the delays we had, on what round did your hangover wear off yesterday? Because mine was maybe halfway through round 2. And then the more sensible question is, if there was one thing that you're looking for from Rain on Reverie, which is obviously coming out hopefully fairly soon, what would it be? To everybody.
My hangover, it was definitely gone by round 1 or 2, which is ridiculous. I'm used to the whole tournament hangover, and that's entirely what I blame on my tournament performance. So definitely. Edie, when did you become human?
I think it was about round 1. That big gap between round 1 and 2, where we got to go and eat some actual real food from the food trucks rather than sketchy burgers. That was what sealed me feeling like an actual functional human being again.
Also, they closed all the bars. That ruined me. We couldn't find any alcohol towards the end of the night. I needed this delicious tonic wine.
Sorry, I'll bring more next year. My hangover sort of mixed with a horrible encounter with a breakfast wrap from the Weatherspoons that we're staying at.
You're staying at
in a Weatherspoons. Hang on.
It's very reasonably
I want more
priced.
information. In the bar, under the table.
Complimentary shots by the bed.
Is it just a 24-hour bar that you just haven't left?
Is it really weird?
No, it sounds great. How can I come?
Is it a joint venture with Airbnb? Seamus, have you just broken into a Weatherspoon and slept on the floor? Is that what's actually happened?
I don't do my own breaking and entering. Someone may have, and I may have followed.
Seamus, come here. I found all the seats. We put the seats together. It's going to be great.
Did we already get the sensible question?
It was what are you looking forward to from Rain and Reverie? Oh, I'm just going to look up what's in Rain and Reverie for a second. So,
what would you hope? What are your hopes for the future, Sheamus? Your dreams, your aspirations?
A child of my own.
A child to call your own.
Well, we saw how big the terminal directive box was.
That fucking thing, man. We went to Nando's and it was on a table, and I thought, just looked at it from a distance and like, Jesus Christ, that's bigger than a shoebox.
I genuinely thought something was wrong when I opened that up and there was just nothing inside. I was like, well, who's taking the rest of my terminal directive? It's ridiculous.
Fit 3 cats in there easily.
So my answer is non-specific. I would like a card or a series of cards that supports a corp strategy that isn't reliant on winning or establishing.
Reliant on winning.
Clear. I feel like interrupting me in the middle of sentences to make them nonsensical is like becoming a podcast meme.
That sounds perfect. I've got nothing else.
A card or series of cards that supports a corp strategy that doesn't require them to win or establish a ridiculously significant advantage in the early game. I don't want to return to like the heights of IG-54, but narrowing the corp viable play time to like the first 10 turns is quite difficult for the meta, I would say.
If we're being serious, I'd quite like a defensive upgrade.
Sure.
I think that's one of. I know there was a Polana in the cup.
You miss Caprice.
Something like that. I think if you look, there was a huge variety of corp decks, but one thing they didn't tend to do was try and build up a relatively, not even an enormous RP late game server, but something where they are trying to end up making and score behind ice in quite a decent server support by upgrades. I think there needs to be something a bit like that, hopefully.
I'd like something that leverages brain damage that isn't just do 4 damage and kill the runner. Like something like if like scoring with brain damage or like an economic advantage with brain damage, but something that isn't just, oh look, you have less cards in hand and now it's easier for me to murder
So
you.
like if you have like 3 brain damage, then your maximum number of money hexagons I caught myself is like there's a maximum level that you can have economically.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, do you mean something like that? Something that is an advantage?
Your credit limit is your hand is limit.
Drink.
Is limited to your hand size would be hilarious.
That's just me.
No, that's awful. Yeah.
90% of HB players are going to be furious with you if what they get in Rain and Reverie is more brain damage support.
But we've got all the stuff that does.
They've still not played any of what we've printed, but let's give it another go.
It's a reason to play those, I think, is what they want.
Give me a reason that isn't Slee.
Oh, sorry. Huh?
Give me a reason to play brain damage that isn't Slee, that's better.
I mean, I'd quite like to see, like we were talking about Val being very strong at the moment. I'd quite like to see an alternative Anarch runner. Maybe something that interacts with viruses. Like, I don't know, say, if you install a virus, it mills the top card. Something like that. You know, I'm just spitballing here, guys, but I think that would be pretty good.
Do you think that would be good?
I'd have fun.
Would you play a tournament if you could play noise?
If I could play noise, yeah. I would, yeah. But not more than like 6 rounds, that's just madness.
So we saw Joey earlier, and Joey's hilarious joke was every time he rebirthed, he tried to rebirth into noise if his opponent would let him. So, something about noise fanboys, guys. You're a weird breed.
Die hard to last. Any more questions? More questions!
Hooray!
As someone who took Heinlein Grid in their Corp deck yesterday, for all of you, what's the stupidest card that you have included in either of your decks as a one-off? In Sheamus's case, what's the one that he thought about including and then just played a sensible deck? And Lane isn't allowed to say Moanza.
3 of, motherfucker. 3 of.
Okay, well, I can't disappoint you, Rich. I absolutely had a stupid one-off. And not only did I not replace it with a more sensible card, I convinced Chris Dyer to play it as well. And that was a Manny Sinai.
Was it one-offs that we actually included or one-offs we were thinking of including? Well, if you're going to run my stupid deck, I honestly had a sideboard that included Offer You Can't Refuse for Euros, so... Yeah, that was very tempting at one point.
Just for difficult judge calls.
Yeah, pretty much. I just want to get those edge cases in there. Just really make Coop's life a misery. So,
apart from telling me I didn't have enough ice in my Titan deck, I was told repeatedly that...
You didn't know. You didn't.
Yeah. The Arc Lockdown was a stupid include and would do absolutely nothing. These people were massively, massively wrong. Turns out, no one thinks Titan runs Arc Lockdown. They put their breakers in the bin, you put the breaker out of the bin, and then they are screwed.
It's hard to lock out people with 9 pieces of ice, though, Edie. I think that was more our point.
Crucially, when 5 of them are code gates, when half of them are code gates, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
So, I guess, in a flash of brilliance, I put Disposable HQ in a PU deck. To kind of, because I thought, I keep all the agendas in my hand and it works from archives, you can kind of bluff it out as other things, but what it actually does is just make you lose over a much longer period of time. Because a game that you're definitely going to lose, you kind of know about halfway through, and it just makes it last longer, and no one's happy.
Do you have a Disposable HQ duck in your house or something? Because every time I come up with a problem with a deck, and we spitball something, the first suggestion is, have you tried putting Disposable HQ in? It's only one influence.
It is only one influence, though, to be fair.
Is there like a massive...
it's like the perfect duck? Jackson replacement, that's all I'm saying.
All of the London Netrunners, and some did very well, are all running a one of Hernando Cortez, which I think is just to shut me up about that card, because I love that card.
He's the one with the multiple subs.
Yeah, they have to pay 1 extra credit. But Rufus is running it. Thank you. Came second.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I should have followed my own advice, shouldn't I?
Questions. More question over there.
Oh, 2 questions.
The question microphone is on its way. Let's talk amongst ourselves. You having a nice show, Edie?
Chris, I'm a little bit sweaty, but apart from that, all good.
Oh, good.
You can't have a question. You're a panelist.
It was a question for Chris, not for the audience.
Go on, what question?
Well, you were talking about this PU deck that you were building.
Yes.
And, missing noise and talking about diaper.
Yes.
Is the reason you don't come to tournaments that the meta isn't degenerate enough for you?
You might be on something. Can't play nonsense. I have to play sensible decks and actually practice to do well. No, it's not my sort of scene. Maybe that's it. Yes, question, please.
Okay, apologies if you were planning on reading the questions out that you asked people to post on Facebook. So first one is, if everybody in Netrunner, the top tier Netrunner players, were in a Royal Rumble, who would win?
Ooh. Can we include Damon
Not
Stone?
Sheamus.
Go on. No.
Damon...
Alice has pushed me down.
Damon can murder men in many ways, Edie. We've talked to him about this,
Yes.
haven't we? Do you remember he was telling us about knife training that he was doing? And how it was like, he hadn't done it since he was in the Marines. And it just all comes, after a while, it just comes back to you, Chris. How many ways do you know how to kill a man, Damon? And he stopped it was quiet for a while he counted. And I was like, if there's a pause, that's probably just enough,
In the interest of my soul not being cursed into the back of beyond, it's the Dark Lord himself, Weiland.
Is it Royal Rumble, the wrestling thing where they have 1 million wrestlers in at once and then fight?
Yeah.
So I think Dave would just sit in the corner, wait for ages, and then take everyone out at once. So he's my vote.
Okay. Then access them many times.
But Swifty would be entertaining to watch because he just calls out whatever he does, so he's the most animated thing. Swifty suplex!
Swifty is basically a Pokemon. Is that what you're saying?
We know what his walk-on music would be as well.
That ties in with the other question I asked, which was who in Netrunner, be it character, player, or designer, is most deserving of their own theme song, and what would it be?
Ooh.
Go on, Chris.
I'm still thinking, Lane. I'm going to say click and credit so that I have to drink. Give myself more time to think.
Let's just go for breaking the law for Gabe.
Hoyland's got to have something amazing, the Dark Lord.
Edie,
he's got to have some good walk-on music.
Contempt.
Contempt.
Yeah, that definitely that. Yeah, that.
I haven't sung that song for a while.
Yeah.
Sheamus, theme tunes, runners.
Sheamus should come on accompanied by a piper at all times. You should be piped.
What theme tune would you like? What song would you like to play every time you enter a room, Sheamus?
I sort of feel like I should have an answer to this, but I don't know that I do.
That's...
Sharp-dressed man.
I'll take that as a lifeline. That was Sharp Dressed Man by CZ Top for the audience that didn't hear.
Lane, do you have an answer to this question?
I just said Weiland, and then you interrupted me by singing something.
Oh, yes.
No,
but I mean, do you, what song does
The Imperial March, it's pretty obvious.
Questions. I think we have time for a few more. Question.
Hooray.
Hooray. Think about which question you've enjoyed the most today, gentlemen, because we'll be handing out our delightful playmat / tea towels very soon. Very absorbent for the pub. So it doesn't get on your cards, just sweeps it up into the tea towel. Yes?
If you sit down in front of someone and they bring out an ID,
yes,
what ID is the sort of most mysteriously terrifying? Like what are you going to do?
So, mostly Adam, but that's mostly because there's a lot of directives, and I have trouble reading, and it just takes a long time. And then I misunderstand them, and I don't really know what's going on, so I'm just very afraid the whole game. Like, what's happening? I don't really understand. Edie?
It's custom biotics.
Because it's Jason.
No. The only reason you run custom biotics is I was going to run a sensible HP kill deck, but it turns out I ran out of influence, so I put it in custom biotics.
Yeah.
So, you're trying to murder me in some really unusual way, and I have no idea what to do about it.
I'm not just saying this because it's you, Guy, but definitely Jemison, because that is the weirdest and craziest of all things. And yeah, any deck's entire strategy revolves around giving away losing all of their agendas, forfeiting them all, has to be doing something completely mad. And Jemison came third yesterday. Did anyone see this?
Yep.
So I have no idea.
Does anyone know what
absolutely terrifies me?
I was about to ask the audience, does anyone know what the deck? But that's really bad radio.
No. Shh.
We'll talk about it afterwards because this is bad radio. Question. Oh no, hold on, wait. Have you answered yet, Sheamus?
I've not. I don't have to if you don't want me to.
You should answer. Please feel free.
So I think you guys have all answered sort of good, home for the weird IDs. But with rotation, some previously good IDs are now only really useful for weird nonsense. So if I see an NEH these days, I'm like, that's 17 influences going on something that isn't 3 biotic labor. And every other card in that deck's probably going to be weird as hell.
Product localization.
Well, that is one spicy include.
There you go. It's full influence. Who thought that was a good idea? Jesus Christ. Question, yes, please.
For everyone other than Chris, across 8 rounds, I think we all collectively lost our minds yesterday. How did you realize that was happening to you, and what moment did you just realize, oh shit, I have no idea what I'm doing anymore?
I, at some point in the evening, tried to write a tweet, and words would be typed into the phone that I was thinking, and then I looked at it and went, that's not a sentence. They're not in any kind of order. I don't really know what's happening here.
Mine was definitely trying to do things like just use Find the Truth when I didn't have it installed. So whenever I made a successful run, saying, can I look at the top card of R&D? And the opponent was like, no. That was pretty bad. That was quite scary. Saying trace 4 when you trash an asset out of EdTech, stuff like that. Just melted brain.
Well, mine was a combination of tiredness quite early in the day, round 2. I was paired against David Saya. And I'd like to think that he wouldn't have been able to get this in my head if I hadn't been so tired, but he was definitely a factor. I found myself, click 2 of my turn, damn it.
Hey.
Doing maths on how I could survive hitting a snare and an agenda in his HQ, he was CI, and survive being punitive after doing so. And I sat thinking about it for about 90 seconds, and then my brain sort of snapped back on, and I thought, what on earth are you talking about? Of course there's not a snare in his HQ, just run and then click for 2 credits and you'll be fine. I'd been so good as well.
Yours isn't making it through to the end.
Anyway, I did and didn't hit a snare, and it was fine. And then told Dave this after the game, and he replied, yeah, I only cut snare from the deck 2 days ago.
It was a phantom snare. Right, I think that's probably... Oh, Millie's not there. Let's go on for ages. All right, any more questions? No. All right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, one more. All right. Who's on after us? Does anyone know? Shut up and sit down. Who? Fine.
Oh shit, they're good.
Big hair. I should have tried to...
We were saying, weren't we, like at their booth, they only had them, which is nice, you know, for, like, we see them in real life, so it's less of a thrill for us.
Right.
But they should have, like, yeah, I know a person. But they should have, like, a Matt Lees wig that you could, like, and have your photo taken with Matt Lees going like that. That'd be good.
Yeah, right. So, were any of you taking notes between games to better remember what happened? And if so, what would be the most confusing note to read out of context if someone passed by your table?
Lane, it looks like you might have an answer to this.
I mean, everyone knows what my answer's going to be. Don't res it. Don't res it. Don't res it. Don't res it.
I weirdly gave up on that because I realised that instead of sort of trying to chill out and find some space, I was just sitting there furiously writing notes about to try and somehow manufacture content. I find horrifically misremembering things in a way that makes me look slightly better, makes for better content.
Seamus?
I don't write notes between rounds, or really ever, because I'm lazy and smoke a lot between rounds. But I suppose if I had written notes, I probably would have reassured myself that it's okay not to know what Technocorp does. You can still win, it's fine.
Right, let's give out some tea towels, gentlemen. Who has won a question that they thought was particularly good?
I think Alice deserves a tea towel for heckling Sheamus.
Well done, Alice.
I was really
Enjoy
hoping
the
that
tea
you would
towel.
all give tea towels to someone else, assuming that I'd give one to Alice, and then I wouldn't.
I would like to give mine to the person who asked the Royal Rumble question, because it got me the biggest laugh of today. So thank you very much.
Please come up and accept
Come up and collect your lovely...
your Run Last Click
Thank
tea
you very
towel.
much.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, that's a great
t-shirt as well.
t-shirt.
Look at that.
That's amazing.
That is very good. Sheamus.
This is an awful lot of responsibility.
It is. They're limited edition.
So I can't buy these anywhere.
You can't for any price.
Can I keep this one then?
No.
Give it to myself.
Oh, I did ask Chris a question. This is legitimate. I would like to give mine to Rich because I love a spicy include and I had one to talk about.
And that's the end of the panel. So I'll say things I say at the end of the panel, which include the website runlastclick.blogspot.co.uk, findings Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, RSS feed, all the good stuff. If you like what we do and want to support us, choose episode, there they are, Patreon is. Patreon.com/runlast. Oh, fuck.
Send more Buckfast.
So Run Last Click.
The website, the email, the Twitter, they all must be read in full.
Facebook is Run Last Click.
Chris is at Milkchester. I am at Oedipus, Eadipus.
And as always, please send emails to Run Last Click.
Getting the hang of it now.
gmail.com. Jesus Christ. Oh. It creeps up on you. A lot in one go. It creeps up on you. Thank you very much for coming to Run Last Click Live. We super appreciate it. And fuck you! I'm not sure I should be clapped for saying fuck you to the audience. But yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it here at RLC. Is that all right? Jeez, Louise. Yeah, and it's so nice that people actually turn up to this shit. Edie, say something nice.
It's really, really cool that this many people came out to see us in the middle of the afternoon and also skip playing more Netrunner to do so. Also, I said we'd do it at the beginning, but they're not here, but we're going to do it anyway. A massive shout out to the judges.
Yes, please.
And extra one to Jono for making the tournament work on short and making the stream work as well.
Lane, I think you should...
Can we give a massive shout out to Millie as well for helping
set all
this thing up?
Millie! Very supportive, very helpful, and we would not be here without her. So
Can we just
thank
stay
you.
here?
I have a regional in Dyson Donuts. It's really close to a train station. Graham, when's the date? Who knows? It's on Facebook.
Google it, it's fine.
30th. Come and play in my cafe.
June, apparently.
Yes.
There you go, all right.
I've got a regional, it's on Facebook. They've
Be
announced.
there or be a fuckhead. There you go. Seamus. This is kicking in. It really is. I'm becoming more violent. Oh, Jesus. The legends were true.
You can go out and attack, shut up and sit down after this.
Yeah, Seamus.
If you are feeling a little bit violent, there is a good antidote to the violent urges that Buckfast can sometimes imbue in people.
It win 50% of...
Well, no, what you do, right? So you're about halfway through your bottle, right?
Yes, about, yeah.
Ideal. Get yourself some dark rum.
Yes.
Fill that bottle back up with rum. No. Bear with me. Give it a little shake. Now, what you've got in that bottle is no longer Buckfast, it's Rumfast. And that statistic we heard earlier, 43% of incarcerated individuals in Scotland having been on Buckfast before being incarcerated, none of them had been on Rumfast.
Because they're dead now.
And on that note, get out.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
We love you all. Thank you.